Hi. I was just realizing when I talk, like you don't see this side of my mouth. Like, what happened here? Did I have a stroke or something? Anyway. Okay, so where was I? Came back from Montana. We get back home and here to Arizona, and after my grandmother passed away. And by that time my parents' divorce is finalized, and my mother decides, she saw in some movie Cher was in where there was a map and you just pick a spot on the map. You close your eyes, pick a spot. And wherever her finger landed on is where she wanted to start over with new memories somewhere. And although at that point I'd been out on my own since I was 17, so I had my own place, but we're all a very close family. And I mean, as siblings, we could beat the crap out of each other, but nobody else was allowed to. But we're all a very close family. And so she calls us all in together and says, whoever wants to go, we're going to pick this spot, we're going to go. So she does. We all agree. We're going to go wherever the house sells. She had picked a spot in Spokane, Washington. So we get out to Spokane, Washington, and it's not for us. So we ended up renting a place somewhere between Yakima and Tacoma until I guess you'd call common law husband and I and my son were able to get our own place. But when we got there, the cost of living was so high and compared to here, and what you got for that was so minimal that, and I hated it. I wanted to come home. I'm a desert rat. I missed home. So I wasn't willing to really invest in anything there. But my mother and I, in the meantime, got into this argument, and I'm stubborn and at that point and prideful, and I thought, I'm not gonna go get another place. I'm gonna live in my car. So I did. I lived in the back of my '77 Camaro, which, by the way, has a hump in the back seat. It's not very comfortable. But I worked 2 full-time jobs to save money to go back home, and no one believed I was gonna do that. So one of them was a halfway house, which was really, really cool. It was really fun. It was a really fun job. It actually started me into healthcare, so in my early 20s. And I saved up enough money to rent a U-Haul, and I pull up in the driveway and I start loading, and they all kind of look at me like, you're really going? And I said, yeah, I am going home. We hadn't even been out there 6 months, 7 months, something like that. And they said, well, hold on, we're gonna pack up U-Hauls and go home too. So they did. We all came back home. But when we got here, I don't know, in that short amount of time, the cost of living had gone up here as well. I mean, not to that extent, but it had. So we found ourselves like getting further and further away from where we wanted to be. And we ended up renting a place in a pretty rough neighborhood. And my mother and the kids went, had their place, but I'm talking about my immediate family. So, but the pressures of that and the financial stuff, and he was working 2 full-time jobs, and the 4 or 5 hours he slept were interrupted by a new colicky baby boy. So a lot of pressure, and ended up being too much pressure on us for being too young, and we ended up splitting up. But luckily, I had just finished, I believe, my certified nursing assistant at that point. So I got a job as a CNA, and then continued to work weekends at a restaurant. So, but still rent's due in 2 weeks, and I'm a single mom with a 3-month-old baby. So my brother Jeff, we did it, like I said, we did everything together. Anywhere from the moment he turned 18, wherever I lived, he lived. He went wherever I did. We were inseparable. And he stepped up and, helped me with, the kids. And then that went on for, a year or so. And once I was on my feet and we had a discussion, we said, I'm good now. And, you're 23, and I was 25 at the time. And I said, maybe it's time You spread your wings and you go out and enjoy your life. And I mean, I'm okay. So he did. He moved out, and he got a place really close to my father, and he was doing really well. And one night at the restaurant, I got off early, and my mother was watching the children, so I went and picked them up and came back home, and I was happy I was able to get some stuff done, and I was folding laundry, and I get a phone call from my little brother John at my mom's house, where I had just came back from picking up the children. And actually, I got the first call from my sister, who called me and said, "You need to get back up here," and she hung up the phone. And so I knew something was wrong, and I called back, and my little brother John answers the phone, and I said, "What's going on?" And he said, Jeff's dead." Excuse me 1 second. So, I don't even remember getting to the house. And as I'm passing down the street, he was less than a mile away in the street. He had been killed in a car accident in his Volkswagen Bug, messing around with a friend. They were, racing, and one of the friends he was with accidentally clipped the his car. So he had just gotten that Bug from my father, a Volkswagen Bug, and I don't think he was used to the weight differential, the engine being in the back, and he overcorrected, and he and his friend in the front seat hit the median there and rolled into a palm tree. And they were both, one was ejected, and the other one, and my brother had to be pulled out, but they were both killed instantly. So, it was a rough time. But excuse me 1 second. How do I pause this? Because I just need a second. Okay, I guess I don't. Okay. So anyway, what were we at? 7, almost 8 minutes now? So I think I'm gonna leave it there right now, and I'll pick back up, okay? Love you guys, thanks.